How's it going, folks? Rob here. Welcome back to the channel. Back on Horizon 5. Going to show off another Event Lab creation that I've done for the channel. So this is going to be part of my kind of like a car review testing series that eventually will lead on to when Horizon 6 drops. Then I've got to, sounds easier than it says, you know, I've got to recreate this and the track that I made the other day in Horizon 6 to continue the series. So this one, where the other one yesterday on Event Lab Island is an actual dedicated racetrack, this one is my motorsport park. And unlike, well, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this, but I've created my own braking zone where I test my cars out. Run them stock standard, get an idea what they're like. We've got to hit 150 kilometers an hour, and then we stop. Every yellow line is exactly 5 meters, and I know that because one of the Subaru WRXs is 5 meters long. That's my yardstick, all the way up to 100 meters. And then when I'm upgrading the cars, bring them back here, find out the differences. Now, I know in-game when you're tuning and building your cars, the car does estimate, tells you what the braking is from like 160 to 0. But I'm a bit old-fashioned. I like to actually do it myself. I find it to be more fun, and that way you can visually see the differences when you're tuning your brakes. But not all cars can get to 150 clicks themselves, which is why that ramp up into the heavens is there. That is for the D-Class cars, and that's why I've got my little Morris Minor D100. Not all cars can get to 150, so yeah, that's what the ramp's for. But I want to change it because I didn't think when I built it, because it's a straight bit of track, and it's a bit of a sharp angle. So when you're and a pretty crappy fence job there. But anyway, yep, pretty simple all the way up. But I want to redo this so it's smoother, because as you're coming down here at speed, it's quite rough, and some of the cars do get bounced around a bit. What else have we built? The reason why I built it all the way over here on top of the bridge is because to the left of my braking zone is my runway, which is exactly 5 kilometers long. Now, normally when you do my top speed runs, like everyone, over there in the distance, you see the highway that runs left to right across the map. Doesn't like to spawn when you're this high up, but anyway, so from all the way down there at the big roundabout, you fly up along here. We all know with games being at 5 bloody years, but yep, all the way up to the big jump at the big roundabout. But that's usually uphill. And when you're coming back this way, it's downhill. So obviously you get different results depending on which way you go. Heading down towards the Horizon Festival's downhill, so you get a bit of quicker speeds. But you got some corners. You got, my God, the distance in this game, the draw is horrible when you're doing an event. But yeah, we got traffic on the roads. You can get different results, weather. So I made my own. It's exactly 5 kilometers long, dead straight, no obstacles, perfect weather. Every time you get the perfect result. Now this part here with the stands and the screens, that is a prop I downloaded, someone else made, and then I built everything around it. Over here, which I built for absolutely no reason other than the fact that I thought, why not? I made my own bridge because over here is a NASCAR track with an infield race track, which is the first proper track I built not using the roads on the Horizon map. And this led to me going to the Event Lab Island where I created the track that I showed you yesterday. It's okay. Didn't really need to build it, but whatever. Kind of got me going to make some other stuff. So behind here is where I put the finish line. Out the way. That way you can drive around for as long as you want, as long as you don't cross these Horizon signs or sneak around the back. You can drive around for as long as you want. So there's 2 things I want to change. That ramp, I want to completely redo it, make it smoother. And some of the fences about 4 miles down need adjusting because they stick all the way out to roughly about here in the left-hand lane. And I was doing some drag racing down here with my son, and I completely forgot. We were doing some really fast hypercars, and I nearly crashed into it. So you want to change that out. The brake testing zone is going to stay the way it is. I quite like it. There's a little slip road to come around the back, or you can just drive through the damn fence. Do what you want. just don't fall off the edge. So let's get started on this. Oh, that looks weird. Some of these fences are props that I've downloaded. So there's, I've got this fence is over one part like that, or this one, which, oh no, the next one. This one, which is about 10 together. So it just makes it a lot easier and a bit quicker. So someone created that and I downloaded it. It makes life a lot easier. So instead of just using the straight track, I want to use one of those banked sections of road where it's a little bit smoother. But I've got to get rid of these. The Blue Horizon boards are purely so I know, well, so I can't go off the edge. But the only cars that are ever getting to the very top of this ramp are the D-Class, and yet they're going to be struggling to get to the top. I've never brought the little Morris Minor here, so I don't even know if that's going to make it. That'll be my test. But yeah, everything else usually stops around this area, and we turn around and get to 150. But yeah, I want to fix this, make it a little bit smoother and getting onto this flat bit of track. Yeah, so a lot of the, especially muscle cars, the old muscle cars do their crap suspension. So I wanted to use this one. I was going to I wanted to continue the 4-lane, but there isn't a curved one. There's a bank because this is the NASCAR track, so I can bank it around like on an oval, but I can't have it go straight up like this, so it's going to have to be 2-lane. But seeing how I'm the only one going up there, it doesn't really matter. I just want this to be a nice, smooth transition. All right, that's a bit better. All right, now from here, we're going to go straight up. Again, it's probably a prop to download where someone's connected quite a few of these, but I'll just quickly do it myself. And then I'll put some fences up so my dumb ass doesn't fall off the edge, which is something I would never do. So I'm thinking I'll go a little bit higher because some of these D-Class cars, even with some downhill assistance of gravity, still struggle to get to 150. So at this stage, the worst braking car that I've tested is an old muscle car, and it got to nearly 80 meters from 150 kilometers to 0. So in miles an hour, what's 160 kilometers an hour? Well, 161 kilometers is 100 miles an hour, to give you an idea. 150, 90, 95, something like that. No, someone else can convert it. All right, that is almost up to where it was. Granted, I haven't really driven many D-Class cars, so let's see if the little Morris can get to the top, and if he can get to 150 by the time we get to the bottom. I have faith that you can do it, little fella. They're incredibly slow, but I love the styling of the old 50s style cars. All right, that's a bit smoother. All right, that should be all right. Pretty sure we're going to have to drop this down to first gear. It's just pathetic, isn't it? You can do it. Come on. Come on. I could fast forward, but I think it's fitting and deserving that you have to watch this as well. I don't really want to downshift because it'll probably start rolling backwards, so we'll just redline the bastard. It is starting to slow down. Alright, we'll get to the top, we'll spin it around and we'll gun it all the way to the bottom. There's no way this is getting a 150 on its own. Not without some serious upgrades. Alright, let's do this. We're going to lose a bit of speed once we get to the flat part, but I'm hoping we build up enough momentum. Otherwise, we'll go up a few more sections of track, make it higher. Get to 150 here. Can we keep that up to... Ooh, we're going to... Let's see. Brake test now. Brake. 80... Oh, that's the worst I've ever driven. 84 meters. Congratulations, Morris Minor. You're at the top of the leaderboard if you flip it upside down. All right, so let me go and detail that. And then I've got to drive all the way down the ends because the camera takes so long. Hopefully we can... In Horizon 6, we can make the camera movement go a bit faster. But now I've got to drive that all the way down the end. That's going to take a while. I'll fast forward that, so you're going to have to watch that as well. All right, give me a minute. Back in a sec. All right, so we're pretty much towards the end. You can see the fence line that I need to fix because I didn't properly check it. So off in the distance, you see I've put that prop, that little bridge thing. I've put one roughly every mile for a marker, so you know roughly how far you've got to go. But I was at my limit of props, so I had to very hastily delete my NASCAR track, which is fine. I don't really use it. So let me just chuck another one of these up here, just a random bridge thing. That'll do. Doesn't matter if it just floats. So that's roughly 4 miles, or 4 kilometers. So while I'm out here, let's fix this section of track because it is pretty poor. Yeah, I don't know how I missed that, but the first time around. But yeah, let's clean that up a little bit. Doesn't have to be exact. It's better than what it was last time. So let's roughly get it in place. There we go. All right, this is the car's max speed, 119. I've had to do this all the way from back there. So we're almost at the route there was at 5, but at the start of the drag strip it was 0.5 because I've driven up from the starting section. So once we get to 5.5, we're at roughly 5 kilometers, which is just before the end, which is why I have put all those stop signs up at the end. We'll get to the end. A smart person would put a wall at the end, but I chose not to. And it was quite funny the other day when my son was driving down here because he didn't know about that and he's just gone flying off the edge. I found it quite amusing because I'm a massive child myself. We'll put that as the end. So yeah, that's the end. We're over the halfway point of the map. Oh, there's the highway there. God, the draw distance is pretty crap in this game, especially when you're in blueprint mode. But yeah, all these stop signs, if you have ignored it by then, you deserve to go off the end. Alto. So yeah, that's a little over 5 kilometers now. That is where I do my high-speed testing, and if you don't stop in time, it's a little bit of a drop to the ground below. But yeah, that is where I'm going to be doing all my testing. So here I do 1 mile drag runs, top speed, obviously, 0 to 100, 0 to 160 kilometers to test out the acceleration. The other thing I do to kind of simulate the speed coming out of a corner and work out how to adjust my gear ratios to get as much acceleration out of a corner, I do rolling start drag race, sort of 50 kilometers, full tilt to 150, and roughly time it, and then get an idea what to change with my gear ratios to try and simulate coming out of corners quickly, and then you can adjust them accordingly. Usually works, and it's just curious to see how different cars handle. I don't want to know what the 50 to 150 time with this darling car is. I have decided, though, I am going to do a car review of this. Not that button. I was about to say a few swear words, so we'll head back to the start. It's a little bit quicker doing that. So, yep, we have completed the new ramp, which is a lot smoother. Very happy with that. A little bit narrower than I was liking, but the braking zone's narrow anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And it's usually just me on the track. So, yeah, that is all done. That's where the finish line, well, the finish line is going to be. That is what's left of my NASCAR track. I could go and delete all those props, but they can just sit there in the eternity. Who cares? So let's bring this over here. We need to complete it. So this is where I'll put my stop line, finish line. Right there. Done. All right, so I am roughly 3/4 of the way filming for my first video using the Mazda RX-7. I just got to do some final shots for the intro, which is going to go along with some music. And I'll test, that takes 20 seconds because as you start to finish, it's 500 meters. So tomorrow, I'm hoping to have that out. I'm hoping all goes well. Maybe three to 4 videos a week. We'll see how we go. But yeah, hope you enjoy. That is my little motorsport park. Although the NASCAR track's now gone, but doesn't really matter. Don't use it. So yeah, hopefully starting tomorrow, new series where I test the cars out leading up to Horizon 6. So until then, I'm Rob. Cheers for watching. I'll see you later.